This is Chris from needlepointers.com with a new tutorial perfect for your pet. A pet bed is a great way to recycle some old fabric. These pet beds are made from old jeans and are stuffed with fleece scrap fabrics. I use Sherpa fabric purchased from the store for the top of the bed and some polyfill stuffing in the center. This is a quick and easy sewing project and only takes about an hour to make. The pet bed can be made in any size. I will show you how to make the smaller size bed and how to change the size for your specific pet. What you'll need to make the pet bed is some old jeans or other fabric to use for the back of the bed, Sherpa fabric, polyfill stuffing, or fleece scraps for stuffing, a sewing machine, scissors, and basic sewing supplies. Cut off the legs of the jeans, turn them inside out, and cut off the seam on one side to flatten them. Sew together two jean legs along the long edge to make a fabric. Sew them together so they'll make more of a rectangular fabric if the jeans are tapered. Here's my pieced together jeans. Now, you can see there's a whole bunch of different pieces here, and that's because I'm using leftovers from my other pet beds that I made to make this fabric. When you use a new pair of jeans, I was able to get a big enough piece from one pair of jeans just by opening up the legs, flattening them, and sewing them together. That gave me a big enough piece for one pet bed. When sewing the jeans together, I sewed them with a 1/2 inch seam allowance with regular thread, and I did use a regular 9014 universal needle to sew the jeans, but there are also jeans needles available and they might work well for you. Cut the jeans and the Sherpa fabric to the desired size. I would like to make a pet bed to be about 12 inches by 16 inches finished in the center. So add 10 inches for the sides of the bed to both measurements. So I cut my jean and Sherpa fabrics to be 22 inches by 26 inches. If you would like 5-inch high sides on your bed, then cut a 4.5-inch square from each corner of the fabric to make a box corner. When this box corner is finished, it will finish at a 5-inch high side. Cut the squares from both the jeans and the Sherpa fabrics on all 4 corners. Working with each fabric separately, place each corner right sides together and sew a 1/2-inch seam allowance from the corner to the outside, remembering to back tack at the corner. Sew all 8 corners like this. Here you can see I've sewn all 8 corners, the 4 corners on the jeans and the 4 corners on the Sherpa fabric. Next, place the 2 fabrics with right sides together, matching the corners. I've pinned the fabrics all the way around, and I want to leave 2 4-inch openings on opposite corners. It's important to leave 2 openings because you can't really stuff around the whole thing, and this will let you stuff this side, and this one will let you stuff that side and that side. To remind me to stop sewing at the corners where I want to leave the openings, I've put 2 pins. That's to remind me to stop and back tack here and then restart over here. I'll be back after I've sewn them together. So I finished sewing the bed together and I left the 2 openings on opposite corners. Next, I'll turn the bed through one of the openings. So here's the bed turned right side out, and I've carefully pushed the corners into the corners so that the bed is in its proper shape. Next, we're going to measure 5 inches from each side and then sew a line between the 2 corners from here to here, about 5 inches from the sides, down the sides. And we want to leave about a 2-inch gap on each side of the corner. So I'm only going to start sewing about 2 inches in from the corner and sew a straight line down and stop 2 inches before I get to that corner. And I'm going to sew the 2 long sides first and then sew the 2 short sides. and leaving the gap on every corner. The gap that you leave will be used to stuff the center of the bed. So I'll be back after I've sewn those 4 seams. I've sewn the 4 seams around, and you can see them better on the back, that I left the gap in each of the corners, and I've just sewn straight lines between each corner. Stuff the bed with cut up scraps of fleece or with polyfill stuffing. Start stuffing the center of the bed first, and I put some fleece scraps in the center of the bed, and then I finished stuffing with some polyfill on top to make it a bit softer. Use both openings on opposite corners to stuff the center and the sides. Once the center of the bed is stuffed, then stuff the sides all around. And I use more of the fleece scraps in the sides of the bed, so I'll be back after I stuff the bed. So here's the stuffed bed, and you can see the fleece in there, and I have to sew the openings closed. Here's the other side. And it's nice and soft in the middle because I use some fleece scraps on the bottom and then polyfill over top, and that makes it nice and soft. The sides are more firm because I use the fleece scraps all around. And there's the bottom of the bed. So I'm going to use a needle and thread and the ladder stitch to stitch this closed. We have a video on how to do the ladder stitch if you're not sure how to do it. If you'd like a written tutorial for making this pet bed, then click the link in the iCard or in the description of this video to visit our website, needlepointers.com. On that page, we will have the full instructions for how to make this pet bed. If you'd prefer an ad-free printable version of the instructions, click the link to go to our Etsy shop, and for a small fee, you can get the printable PDF version. I've sewn the openings closed, and the pet bed is now ready for your pet to use. Here's a larger pet bed that I made, and this one's pretty big actually. So you can make these in pretty much any size, and I did the same thing where I have 5-inch sides and then the center. So using the calculation, just taking whatever size you want this center section to be, adding 10 inches to both measurements, then you can make a pet bed with the center the size that you start with. This is the second one, and the second one finished at approximately 16 inches wide by 19 inches long. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make a pet bed. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like and share our videos, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos. Visit our website, needlepointers.com, for lots of other sewing tutorials and free projects. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly newsletter so you won't miss new tutorials. Happy sewing!